Sometimes in Minecraft you come across these lava pools as you're exploring. Well, I decided to do something a little bit different with it. Underneath this tree, which I planted myself, is a hidden entrance to a base entirely under that lava pool. And it looks like this. It's absolutely massive. And what I want to do today is to show you how to make one of these under lava hidden houses. And it's going to be really cool. So let's get straight into it. First of all, I should point out that this is a pretty big project. It took me at least over an hour in creative, but I did do it by hand. So the first thing that you need to do is find one of these lava pools, which you'll find is actually quite difficult when you're looking for it. You only seem to find them when you walk into them by accident and die. So once I found one, the obvious thing to do here is to remove all of the lava, and indeed you need lots and lots of buckets. Do not get rid of these lava buckets, you will need them for later, and in fact you'll probably need more than you take out of this pit in the first place. So the first thing I did was mark where the lava was, and then I started hacking away at everything underneath. We need to basically start carving this entire dome by hand. But you couldn't really see that from the time-lapse, so I've got a mixture of first person and third person. So the first thing I've done is removed all the lava. Then I've marked out where the lava is, just like in the time-lapse, and then I've taken my cyan block of clay and I'm marking where the top of my dome is going to be. We have to basically build this as we start carving it down. So I'm going to start removing all of the blocks around this pool and underneath, and we basically have to dig everything out. It takes absolutely ages, but you'll be thankful for it when you have a ton of resources. Once you've got that top bit of cyan clay marked out, you need to start creating a very steady arch depending on how big you want your underground base to be. Remember, the more ambitious you are with how far you go out at the top will dictate how much you need to carve out, so think very carefully about how big you want this dome to be. I think that I went for more of a medium-sized one, and I think that took long enough in itself, so do think quite carefully. I would go for conservative rather than a huge one, because you could be there for hours digging out all of those minerals. But if you want to spend the time and make a huge underground base, then go right ahead and make that curve really big. You can see as we're going along here, I'm taking off a layer and then putting in the clay where the framework for this dome is going to be. This will hopefully make a bit more sense in time. Perhaps you can't tell where I'm going with this at the moment. Maybe it'll help if I fill in the gaps between these structure pieces with cyan stained clay, my personal choice of color for this, so you can start to picture how this dome is going to come together. But it is very important that we take away and build at the same time. If you completely destroy the area and then haven't built anything, you are left with this giant space and you will just have to make scaffolding to the top again to make the dome. But if you do it as you go down, it's much easier to notice mistakes, it's much easier to build as you go, and you do feel like you make steady progress as well. Like I said, it takes a lot of time to carve all of this out, even in creative where I was just smacking the blocks, and I did that for you. I wanted to show you how painful it is. I didn't use a pickaxe, no, but I could have just world edited all away, but I didn't. I didn't for you guys. Anyway, we need to continue making this dome, and as you can see, I'm just, every time I go down a block, I'm wrapping around a new layer of glass. And I'll be honest with you, my dome is not quite a perfect circle, and that was intentional. I made it so that there was 2 bits of support at the start, and that was going to be my centerpiece, meaning that there was a 2-block center on my circle, which is not a big deal. You can just have a completely spherical dome, but I decided not to. The beauty of this is you can make whatever you want out of glass on this under lava house. You could have a completely square cuboid one if you wanted to, or you could have a really weird shape if you wanted to do that. You could make a star, or I don't know, something crazy. I'm just not that imaginative. I've just made a dome, you know, like the underwater one. Anyway, it takes a long time. You have to continue carving it out. You have to continue going down, and it is a long process. So, I'll speed it up a little bit now. You can see how this is all starting to come together, and there reaches a point where you're about halfway through your sphere, so you have a dome. This is where you need to stop making glass and go straight down. You need to go very deep. It's very easy as well to think that you've gone deep enough, but you haven't. You need to go down at least 6 blocks because the way we're going to use the walls requires us to have that height or depth, whichever way you want to look at it. So from a first person point of view, replacing these blocks around the edge is fairly simple. There's nothing to it. We're going to be adding the detail in now, but we need to add a quick floor once you've decided you've hit the correct level. I went for something fairly simple. I layered round some polish andesite around the edge, and then I inlaid some clay block in the middle. If I was in 1.12 or whatever the newest version is, I would have used some coloured concrete because those blocks are the best. But for now, I'll have to put up with clay. And that's fine, it does the job, but there could be some better colours in the next update. So we have a complete dome, we've got a floor, but we have no rooms, we have no usable space, and we definitely don't have the lava. The first thing we need to do is highlight where the exit's going to be, so think about that before you come down here. Where do you want the exit to be? So I just highlighted where that hallway is going to be before turning my attention to the walls. Now there's several different things we can do, one of which is just decorate it with some lava. I put lava behind some glass panes and it was just purely decorative. There is going to be so much light in this build, you really don't need that much. So that's one option. If you really don't know what to do for it, stick a bunch of lava there, it'll be fine. Around the edge, I decided to add plenty of slabs to sort of decorate this very grey build. Just that lighter slab really makes it seem like it's supported, makes it look more mechanical. Whatever it is, it does help the build in general, but you can decorate this in whatever way you want. You can use different blocks, you could use staircases, you could go for an entirely different design. That's the beauty of these projects. On the other two walls, I plan to add some actual usable space. So the first thing is a storage area. All I did was knock in a nice smooth arch shape that is more square than circular, but it does the trick. At the end, I added in some lava on the back wall to add some space and filled in the floor with the same style as the central hall. It's a fairly easy thing to do, it just takes a surprising long time to carve all of that out, and once you think that you've done with that giant dome, you still have more to do. And then I added a bunch of trap chests and normal chests, alternating so that they can stack up. I thought the floor looked very barren, you might have thought that at the start, so I added an Eye of Ender style pattern on the floor to try and give it some substance. And for the final wall, I decided to add more living quarters and crafting area and that kind of thing. So again, I filled in the wall, carved it back, added some more space as necessary, added a bed, and then a bunch of decorations, and then crafting tables, some more storage, and some furnaces, anvil, that kind of thing. Just anything that you feel that you will need in this base. And the beauty of it is, you can extend that almost indefinitely. If there's more than one lava pool next to each other, you could even do several. You could have a whole network of these underground bases. So now I'm going to be making the little exit out of the base. And I'm going to be covering up any of the extra holes that have been made, because I did go into a few caves, and I'd be really surprised if you undertake this project and you don't hit a cave at some point. Make sure you light it up so that the mobs don't get you, and cover it up at the end. So what I did was made a simple 1-block entrance that goes up a ladder, and then covered it with a tree for safety. There are so many cool redstone ways of doing that, but I was quite happy to hide it under a tree. And then, of course, it's placing the lava, which you couldn't see too well, so I'm going to have to show you that in first person as well. That is pretty much how to make this base. It's very, very simple, and it's amazing how hidden it is. You cannot see it at all once the tree and the lava are put back. But what you didn't really see was around my tube, the entrance to my base, I just made a quick wall made of stone, and then I filled it with some lava as well. You may have noticed that from the introductory shot where I was going down this little tube and it was immediately lava. I just thought it was a nice touch. You could have even like nature or a cave. You could really decorate this area. I just went for lava because, you know, the whole under lava house thing going for it. It was a very simple and easy thing to do. So I want to show you in first person how I went about placing the lava, and I expect there will be many tears when it comes to this. I'm in creative mode, so I can't actually be hurt by the lava, but the amount of times that I ended up placing it on myself accidentally, like that, or just falling into it or something like that, was like 3 or 4 times. So if you're going to be placing lava, make sure you just carry a few buckets at a time or something like that, because you will probably die at this point and you don't want to lose all of your items. You need a lot of lava to cover this up. More lava than you got originally out of this pool. So that's it. It's actually a fairly simple concept. I cannot believe that I haven't done this before at some point. I actually absolutely love this hidden house. It's probably one of my favorites, purely because of its simplicity. The second thing is these lava pools are everywhere, and you just wouldn't expect it. If you have a friend and you say, oh, come and have a look at my base, and they're like, oh, you know, it was just under a tree. But then they'll realize that there's that lava pool outside and go down there and be like super impressed, like, wow, this is huge. This is a massive underground base. It's really impressive. So that's it, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you are going to tell me that, hey Grian, someone's gonna come and chop down that tree and then your base is gonna get found, if you want to be extra cautious, just stick another grass block there. I know I just had an open ladder. That's because I'm not actually hiding this from anyone. I'm doing a tutorial. So if you want that extra protection, instead of having that top ladder block, just keep a bit of dirt and they won't even suspect a thing. They'll take the tree and walk away, and you can just, you know, replace the tree or keep it as dirt, whatever you want. Easy peasy. So that's it, everyone. Thank you ever so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you do make this, make sure to tweet me at GrianMC pictures of your under lava base. Thanks again, everyone, for watching, and goodbye.